high amount of oil is in and around Pollachi. That means, but very particularly in and around Negam region, they are producing more coconut oil. But in Vatanjataram and the Tanjavur and so many other areas of Tamil Nadu also, the coconut populations are there. Cytologically, they are not producing that much amount of oil. So oil content variation within the same species at different population is mainly influenced by the environmental condition. Very particularly the air humidity, temperature, and secondarily the soil factors. Very primarily the climatic factors, very particularly the temperature and the humidity. These are all the two master factors. They are controlling the outcome of the oil content in different populations of the coconut. Similarly, when you take the Areca, so the rubber plant also, rubber plantation more common in Kottayam and southern Kerala. So the Kottayam, in and around Kottayam only, the rubber yield is very high. The secretory glands, they are producing the latex in Kottayam region is very active and producing more latex. The reason is the environment. Environment available in that region, in and around that Kottayam, is more suitable to produce more quantity of latex from the glands. So this is cytological studies. The cytological studies is more useful to improve the quality of any kind of the commercial organic commercial plants. And when you come to the concern, the next one, they are giving more importance to the pollution ecology. Pollution nowadays for the past 40-50 years, people are giving more importance to pollution because for our sophisticated life, the environment is highly deteriorated by emitting more gases and also different kinds of the effluents we are emitting from the released from the industries. So many factors due to which the environment is deteriorated. So what are the ways and means to keep the environment clean? So this is one angle. A large group of people, they are the concentrating in this area, pollution ecology, and conservation ecology is another way. Because of the higher demand, we are exploiting the natural resources ruthlessly. So the exploitation rate is very higher than the regeneration rate. So this conservation and judicial utilization, sustainable development, they all are highly related to each other. So studies are needed, more studies are needed in this area, this conservation biology. And production ecology, this is almost all modern ecologists, they are giving more importance to production ecology because the increasing the yield of grains or increasing the yield of any kind of the plant derivatives, that is most important to feed or cater the food for all kinds of organisms living in the world. That's why production ecology is more important, and also more people, they are focusing the more concentrating the production ecology. The rate at which the sunlight energy is fixed by the green plants, the rate at which the energy transferred from plants to herbivore level, herbivore to carnivore level, carnivore to omnivore level. So these are all the things. So the energy budget that can be prepared for the ecosystem, based on the budget, we can apply certain principles and improve the ecosystem services in production point of view. Many terminologies we are using in production ecology, the primary production and then the secondary production. Primary production at the level of green plants or plant level, that is called primary production. Secondary production at the level of the animals, that is called as the secondary production. Primary production also into two, that is two way we are explaining the primary production: gross primary production, net primary production. Gross primary production, the total energy including the expenditure fixed by the green plants is called as the gross primary production. So some of the energy produced by the plants that can be lost by certain catabolic process like respiration. So through respiratory activity, some kind of the carbohydrate and other primary resource that can be spent by the own plant for its own activity. So the total production excluding the respiratory loss, that is called as secondary primary the net primary production. Animal levels also, by getting biomass from the plants, animals also increasing the weight in total, that is gross secondary production. Similarly, excluding the respiratory loss at animal level, that is called as the net secondary production. Like that, we are using different terminologies for studying the production. And then the ecosystem ecology. Ecosystem ecology is the holistic approach at all level, in the ecosystem, plant level, animal level, microbial level, environmental condition level, all the factors, how they are influencing. Even it is a minor factor, some extent they are influencing organisms. All they have been studied very thoroughly by employing certain modern tools. Modern tools like now the ecological studies are required. The sophisticated instruments like our spectrophotometry of different types and the infrared analyzer. So many things, even computer systems, and also this can also be employed in the ecological studies. So this is one way. And another, the system ecology. System ecology is most essential for all kinds of other branches of ecology. There are two stages in system ecology, one analysis and second one modeling. Analysis means mere the data collection. So depending upon our aim, if you want to do production ecology, then you have to collect the biomass data at different levels. And then the second one, that is the modeling. So primary data and the processing of the data, everything in the analysis. Modeling is the preparation of the mathematical models. The means simply system ecology is the conversion of the biological data into mathematical data. So by using the computer system, statistics, mathematics, all the cybernetics, all these tools are used for the conversion process. So biological data collected from the field, either it may be first-hand information or the from sources we are collecting. So this biological data that should be converted into the mathematical data. So based on which we are preparing models. Models only for every ecosystem, models must be prepared for each and every function. That only helpful for the improving the status of ecosystem, and hence we can get the higher services. So modeling the mathematical data converted from the biological. So these are all the things developed in the the system ecology. And then when you come to concepts of ecology, for the thorough understanding of ecology, we must know the common concepts. Concepts means, so we are getting information from various aspects of the ecosystem or community or population or species. So that is called as the concept. We are concrete information or concrete ideas that can be made from different levels. So one, there are structural point of view and functional point of view, different concepts are there. Because one group of people in earlier stages, they have considered mere the assemblage of different species at a different level to share the resources, common resources available there. That is called either population or community or ecosystem, like that. In that, this is called the structure. When you include the various ecological processes taking place inside the ecosystem, then the functions also incorporated. So structural point of view, the first thing they are saying, the organisms and the environment, not only they are interrelated and dynamic, they are mutually reactive also. So that is the first concept they are saying, mutually reactive. So one organism or one environmental factor is helping or promoting the growth of the organism, means some extent the environment is also little bit changed by the organism. Say for example, in the forest system is there. So forest, they are getting light, water, soil, nutrients, everything from the environment. And instead of this, the forest trees, they are shedding their leaf. The leaves falls on the ground, decomposed well by the microorganisms. Again, the nutrients are formed. So the increased status of nutrients, they are inviting the other species to grow there. Because already certain quantity of nutrients are there, that is standard. But later on, due to the enhanced growth of the plants of different types, forest means when you take, we are having the understory plant, the tall trees, medium-sized trees, climbers, epiphytes, parasites, so many kinds of plants, plant life forms are there. So after maturity, they are shedding their leaves, and the leaves are decomposed, and other organisms, the enriched nutrient content of the soil, inviting other species to that area. And so the the species composition is little bit changed by the activity of the own organism. That means environment is little bit changed by the organism. So mutually reactive, they are saying. One side, environmental factors, they are influencing over organisms. Organisms also little bit, they are reciprocal relationship, actually we can say. So in addition, different species between themselves, they are also reacting and interacting. So that is called as the mutually reactive. So we cannot separate any type of organism from environment. So isolately, without environmental factor, no organism will be there. Even one single organism cannot grow without the aid of the other organism. When you are culturing only one plant in your garden or in your kitchen garden or roof garden, so there also microbial organisms that will be more important for converting the energy. Phosphatizing bacteria is essential for converting the phosphate into ionic phosphorus. Similarly, nitrogen fixing organisms are required for the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen. Sulfur bacteria is essential to drive the various chemical cycles in a faster way. So all things, they are related to each other. So that is the way, the first thing, mutually reactive. The second one, environment act as a sieve. Sieve means environment only select the organism for a particular habitat. Environment is a master factor. It dictates what kind of organisms can grow in that region. Environment is dictating. You come and grow here, you go away. So likewise, it is dictating. We cannot expect any type of opensia in the, or we cannot expect a lotus plant in the semi-arid condition. So semi-arid condition is mainly meant for the xerophytic plants. We cannot expect lotus there, nymphaea there, hydrilla there. So because that condition is only for the semi-arid plants. So environment is inviting only the mesophytic plants to grow in that region. When the mesophytic plants are occurring there, then the animals of the same type will also come there. Ants, millipedes, centipedes, and then the termites. So these are all the pioneers in the community where the mesophytic plants are very common. And then, so environment is a dictate, it acts as a sieve. So when you put some soil or some material over the sieve, when you shake it, then according to sieve size, we can collect the material at the bottom. So the unwanted materials, they are stayed in the sieve itself, that can be discarded. Similarly, in nature also, in ecosystem also, the kind of organisms in a particular place that can be selected by the environment only. So environment is the master factor to fix the organism in a particular place. So the third one, the plasticity of the organism. Plasticity means, you see, every species tends to adjust the environment to maximum extent. So maintain the uniformity. Suppose that 10 individuals of the same species are growing in a particular habitat, means all the 10 individuals tends to maintain their uniformity. But some extent, because of the variation in the local climate and micro environmental conditions, definitely the 10 individuals cannot be uniform. It may be slight variations or larger variations are there. So that is called as the plasticity. That is simply the elasticity. According to change in environment, some extent the organisms are changing its morphological characters, anatomical characters, physiological characters, even genetic characters also, some extent they can change according to the environment available there. Because any species which can able to have more adjusting capacity, that is plasticity, that can live in different environmental conditions. Say for example, the hydrophytic plants, they are having poor or the very narrow plasticity. That means they can live only in the water. When you take out the plants from water, they cannot live. Similarly, the aquatic animals also, fish and various other types of aquatic animals, they are living inside the water. They are having the very narrow ecological amplitude. That means the narrow plasticity. So when they are taken out from the system, they cannot live. That means the adjusting capacity or the tolerance capacity of the organisms are very poor. But when you see some of the plants, take for example our the exotic plants, very particularly the lantana, for the past 30 years only, it is very common in almost all areas. As per my knowledge, for 30 years back, I have not seen any single individual of lantana camera in Nilgiris, high altitudes of Nilgiris. But now it is available in the high altitudes of Nilgiris. That means one side they are saying climate change, increase the temperature in the upper reaches of Nilgiris and upper mountains. They are inviting the tropical weeds like Lantana camera. So the other plants like the Epitorium odoratum, Egeratum, these are all the very common plants in the low level. Now they are available in the high reaches also. So this is called as the plasticity, adjusting capacity. Even at a low temperature, the plants can adjust. So the plasticity is entirely controlled by the genetic constitution. So only the gene constituent that can control the plasticity. So organisms, say for example, there are three types of forms are there. According to environment, they are developing three types of forms. So for better survival only, they are developing forms. So any organism, they can able to produce more ecological forms. They can survive at different levels, different habitats. For example, I can say ecots, one type of forms developed by the organism. Ecotypes, another type of the form developed by this is called as the ecological forms, and eco species. So many types of the ecological forms are there. Ecots, say for example, they are the morphological variants. That means the environmentally induced variants. They are the ecots. So they are having reversible. The characters are the morphological features available, or variations in the morphological features in the ecots are reversible. And also somatic, reversible, temporary. They are not permanent characters. You see, for example, I am saying one plant, the Gaultheria fragrantissima is one hill plant. It is usually the population is very rich in Nilgiris, above 2000 meters altitude, around 2000 meters. 1800 to 2000 meters is the most suitable altitude for the growth of the plants. In Kotagiri region, Ebbanadu and other parts, we can see this Gaultheria fragrantissima is the plant situated at the margins of the forest. Very economically important plant. Oil of this plant is used for the preparation of paint bombs and other things. Even in Ooty local market, we can get the oil in the name of wintergreen oil. So this Gaultheria, this is growing in, it is a medium-sized bush, some maximum 3 meter it can grow. The stem is semi hardwood, not like that of the tree, like our neem or teak like that. It is a medium-sized bush, maximum 3 meter it can grow. So irregular flowering, everything will be happened very normally in the altitude of around 2000 meter altitude. But the same plant is growing in low level also around 1200 meters altitude. But there, they are only 1 or 2 feet only height. But the fertilization, seed production, oil content, everything is almost same. But the height of the plant, number of branches, color of the leaf, and then the color of the flowers is slightly varied from that of the original form. But when you take the seeds of this dwarf form, and when you cultivate the seeds of the dwarf form in the upper reaches, it will become a bush, 3 meter bush. So these characters, variation in the characters are very temporary and somatic also. Only in the vegetative part we can see this kind of changes, and irreversible. So the characters can be changed according to environment. This is the way many plants, they are producing different, many number of ecots to survive in different areas. So even the temperature is high or low, water content is high or low, the plant can survive. But the formation is entirely different. In India, very first report about the ecot that can be published in 1960 by Ramakrishnan for Euphorbia hitta. There are two forms, one prostate form, another one is the prostate compact type in Euphorbia hitta. Very common plant, it is available almost in all wasteland Euphorbiaceae member. So the ecot formation is also for animals. So in plants, you see this prostate type of Euphorbia hitta, it is available in the grazing hard and compact soil. Where the soil is hard and compact, there we can see the Euphorbia hitta as the prostate type. It is very close to ground surface, not an erect type. When you come to the footpath and other trampling, animal trampling areas, the same Euphorbia hitta is the somewhat prostate compact type. The branches are so close, the leaves are very closely arranged. So that type of compact arrangement is there. the same species in different region, different area. One is trampling area, another one is the hard and compact soil. It shows variation. Both can interfertile. So pollination and fertilization can be possible between the two populations. So we consider both of them as the single species. And ecotypes, this is the characters are totally fixed. Actually, Turison, an European ecologist in 1922, worked some experimental work in the ecotypes. Ecotypes are genetically fixed characters. Wherever you can grow, the characters cannot change. So we can observe different intermediate types in the ecotypes. So ecotypes, even though the genetic variations are available, they can interfertile. So it is quite interesting. Genetically, they are varying to some extent, but it is interfertile. Fertilization can be possible in both populations. So this is called as the ecotypes. This is also produced by many number of plants and animals for the better survival in different conditions. So the plasticity is most essential for all kinds of organisms to survive in different environmental conditions to maximum extent. Suppose a plant requiring 30 degrees centigrade for the optimum production of or the maximum production of the carbohydrate. 31 degree, 28 degree, 35 up to 35 degree, nothing will happen. Little bit production can be reduced. But after 35, the plant will suffer. So the resistant capacity is up to 35 only. When you increase the temperature again and again at 40 degrees centigrade, the plant will die. So it cannot tolerate 40 degrees centigrade. From 30 to 37, it can adjust by reducing the primary production, by reducing the respiration, by reducing the growth, the plant can adjust. So this is called as plasticity. Any species which can more plasticity or broader plasticity that can live in different environmental conditions. So this is one. Another one, successor. This is another important area when you study the structural point of ecology. So the succession, that means no organisms in the habitat is permanent. So everything is very temporary. Organisms that can be replaced over a period of time by another set of organisms. You might have studied the pioneer community, we can say, and then the cereal communities, we can say, finally the climax community. Climax community is relatively permanent, but that should also be disturbed in course of time or replaced by some other set of organisms. So when you take any type of the aquatic ecosystem, the first phytoplankton stage, after then we can say the submerged stage, floating stage, and then floating stage, and then submerged stage, amphibian stage, sedge meadow stage, shrubland, and the forest like that, woodland. These are all the stages going on. Finally, we are getting the forest. So this succession is a very common process, even it is man-made ecosystem or natural ecosystem or communities, whatever it may be, the succession is an inevitable process taking place in all kinds of community, because environment, every moment the environment is changing. Temperature is not constant, even daytime, morning one temperature, midday one temperature, evening one temperature, night time another temperature. So temperature every second the temperature is varying. Similarly, other conditions of the environment, they are also varying. So according to changes, the plants, animals, everything, they're responding. So the response is to some extent, if the conditions are entirely varied after certain period, so that kind of organisms are slowly replaced by another set of organisms. So plants, subsequently the animals, and then the microorganisms available there, all the three major kinds of living systems, they are replaced. So they are, that is called, Wadham used the word community development. He is not using the word succession. Succession was the word introduced by Clemens in 1916. But Wadham used the word community development. So different organisms, they are occupying the common habitat at different time. That is called as the community development. So many stages, you might have even in the BSc biology classes, many of you studied about the hydroseed, samoseed, zero seed, like that. They are nothing but the succession or the replacement of the organisms. So all the man-made ecosystems also, the succession is inevitable. It must be there, otherwise it will not be an ecosystem. So the next one, that is called as the biome, concept of biome in the structural point of view. Biome, actually, the Clements and then the Selford in 1939 introduced the concept of biome because community is not organized by same set of plants, same set of animals, same set of microorganisms. Even within the plants, you can see in a matured ecosystem, plants of different categories, plants of different phenophases, they are available. Similarly, animals also. Some of the animals they are at the egg laying stage. In the same habitat, some animals they are in the juvenile stage, some animals in the reproductive stage, some animals in the old age stage, like that. Different stages are there. When you take plant systems, they are also in different. Some of the species of the plants they are at the germinating stage. Some they are in the flowering stage. Some they are in the seed production stage. Like that, it is varying. So the combination of different sets of plants, different sets of organisms with the different phenophases in a common place that is called as the biome. It is also the another modified version of community, but it is a complex community. So different species with the different phenophases, it is a complex community. So different species with the different levels called as community. And then concept, actually the basic units of basic structural and functional units are the ecosystem. For nature, the basic functional unit. Ecosystems are the basic functional unit, both structural point of view and functional point of view, because ecosystem is community plus environment. Community and environment, this combination is called as the ecosystem. So this ecosystem are the basic units of the nature, structure and function of the nature or the ecosystems. So when you study all the aspects, interrelationships between the different kinds of organisms in an ecosystem, so that is the better we can get a better understanding about the interrelationship between various kinds of organisms related with the environment. So this is called as the what I can say, the first concept functional point of view, the basic structural and functional units of nature or the ecosystem. The second one, all kinds of organisms they are having interactions, whether the interactions may be positive or negative or it may be neutral. Any one type of interactions may be there in the ecosystem. Both the organisms they can benefit, or sometimes one partner that can be benefited without disturbing the another partner. That is called positive. So we can say the symbiosis, the mycorrhizal association, pollination by animals in plants, all these they are the positive interaction. Positive interaction is also there, the mutualism, commensalism, proto cooperation. These are all certain these positive interactions between the plants and other organisms. So this mutualism, both partners they are benefited almost reciprocally. Reciprocal relationship or benefits between the partners, that is called as the mutualism. The symbiosis is one kind of mutualism. Mycorrhizal association in the roots of plants, that is another mutualism. Pollination by bees and insects and other animals in plants, that is another interaction or the positive interaction between the plants, because both partners they are getting benefit. And when you come to the negative feedback, one partner is benefited, another partner is completely destroyed. Parasitism is very good example. So parasites mostly they are heterotrophic, no power to produce their own food material, so they can get the food material simply from the green plants and other animals. Animals also having lot of parasites in the skin, and also inner body also parasites are there. In plants also, the cascuta type of plant, sandalwood also a temporary parasite. Rafflesia, another parasite in the very common parasite in the plants. And most of the families, not all the families, the Rafflesia, and some families, the cascuta, Rafflesia, sandalwood, so many plants, they are the parasites getting totally food from the other sources. So one partner parasites that can be benefited, the host plant completely destroyed. So this is one kind of the negative interaction. And competition, that is another negative interaction. So for resource sharing, if competition sets there, one partner or few partners can benefit it, The remaining things, the partners, they are totally destroyed. So any plant which can able to have more viability and vigor, they can success in the competition. Others, they are getting failure. So many numbers, they can be eliminated from the ecosystem by competition. And the antibiosis, some of the plants, they can produce some chemicals through which they are avoiding other plants. It cannot allow any type of plant to grow nearby. From the root system, some biochemical compounds, very particularly the phenolic compounds, are produced by the plant. The phenolics, when they are mixed with the soil, the seeds of other plants are not permitted to grow there. So it is solely growing and getting all the resources with the competition. This is also the negative impact. And then the you see the allelopathy. Allelopathy is also another negative impact. One partner, simply a mechanism, the defense mechanism the plants are having, the chemicals produced by different parts, very particularly the root system, the other plants and other organisms, even animals also eliminated from the soil where the phenolic chemicals produced by the plants are very rich. So these are all some negative. Proto cooperation means cooperation in that no disturbance is there for any partner. Mostly in the marine animals, we can see, particularly the shell animals, calcium rich cells are there for the crab and then the snail and the oysters. These are all the organisms they are having associated with many number of algae, unicellular algae. Even without animals, the plants can live in that environment. But the inhabiting over the animal cell that can induce growth of the animals, plants. That's why they are growing there. So no partner is affected. Some extent they are getting benefit. That is called as the proto cooperation. So these are all the things, interrelations between the organisms available. And then the third one, that is called energy, bioenergetics, energy flow. So already we told about the ultimate source of energy for all living beings in the world is the sunlight. Sunlight, from the sunlight, that is the radiant energy, is fixed by the green plants. And from the green plants, the fixed energy is transferred to herbivores, carnivores, and carnivores to omnivores. It is a chain of events. The food is passed from one food level or trophic level to another trophic level very continuously. So this energy, understanding about the energy flow, how much energy is reaching the producer level, and what is the efficiency of producer or the green plants to fix the light, and the rate of energy fixation and the rate of energy transfer, rate of energy uptake, rate of energy retained by the organism. So when you study all those things, we can get a clear understanding about the functional aspect with particular reference to primary and secondary production at ecosystem level. And another concept, major concept, functional point of view, the biogeochemical cycling. You know that 90 odd elements present in nature, they are not standard. They are always tends to circulate between the environment and then the organism. So no element in the globe or in the earth is static. They are always dynamic. But the rate of movement of element is varied. Nitrogen and then the carbon dioxide, they can move very fastly when compared to phosphorus and then the sulfur. So based on that movement and based on the reservoir pool, we can have two types of biogeochemical cycling, gaseous type and then the sedimentary type. Sedimentary type, phosphorus, sulfur, manganese, calcium, these are all the things coming under the sedimentary type. It is imperfect. So one side, the releasing of these materials from the original source are very faster, but at the same time, the recharging of the nutrients to their original position is very slower. That's why these elements become rare in nature. Phosphorus, when compared to nitrogen in water, it is 1:23. 23 parts of nitrogen with 1 parts of phosphorus only available. Where the huge quantity of phosphorus gone? Simply the less perfect cycle. Phosphorus, when in one cycle is completed for phosphorus, means nearly 80% of the phosphorus sedimented again. It is locked in the bottom of the sea. It cannot be recovered very easily. Similarly, the magnesium, manganese, sulfur, calcium, all those things, they are coming under the sedimentary type. But gaseous type, relatively a perfect type. the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. These gases, they are the gaseous types. They can have more faster movement. Almost how much amount of carbon dioxide is released to atmosphere, almost the same quantity is fixed. That means more carbon dioxide is available in marine water in the form of carbonate than the atmosphere. So marine water act as a buffer to release the carbon dioxide whenever the deficiency comes. So this is the way the carbon dioxide is almost balanced or perfect. So gaseous type and then the sedimentary type, all the 90 odd elements available in nature, they tends to circulate between the environment and then the organism. This is happened in all kinds of communities, even in tundra and also in the you see the polar regions where the conditions are entirely not suitable for the organisms. There also the biogeochemical cycling is going on, but the rate of the movement of the elements from one level to another level is very lower, very lower there. So anyhow, the process is going on. So this is another inevitable process happening in the all the area. We should get knowledge about the biogeochemical cycling, how they are helpful in promoting the biomass production and how it will be helpful to cater the food for other organisms, where it is locked, where it is released, what are the agents and microorganisms. You see, microorganisms are the key player in operating the biogeochemical cycles. Without microbes, no single step can be forwarded in the biogeochemical cycles. For any type of element, microorganisms, specific activity has been carried out by the microorganism to convert. For example, the phosphatizing bacteria, phosphate cannot be taken by the phosphate ions. That can be done by phosphorus ions. That can be done by phosphatizing bacteria. Likewise, the phosphorus solubilizing bacteria, they are doing the function. The Pseudomonas, many types of bacteria, they are doing that function. So microorganisms, they are the major driver of all kinds of the biogeochemical cycles that should be understood. And another area, another concept in functional point of view, the limiting factor concept. Limiting factor means all environmental factors, climatic factors, soil factors, everything is important, required in small amount or large amount. All kinds of climatic factor, edaphic factor, they are playing role in the development, growth and development and reproduction of all kinds of organisms. So this, suppose one particular environmental factor is not sufficient. For example, a good soil, fertile soil is there. The environment oxygen content of the atmosphere is also rich. Carbon dioxide content for the primary production is also very rich for the plants. Everything is okay except the availability of water. So a plant require 20 ml of water per day. The 20 ml of water, suppose that plant is not getting 20 ml, only 5 ml it is getting, means the water playing the limiting, the water is the limiting factor. The growth of the plant or the animal or any type of organism, that can be totally controlled by the limiting factor. So all the growth and development, reproduction, everything will be ideal provided all the conditions are favorable. If any condition is not sufficient or deficient, then they cannot grow in a full way. So the physiology, the metabolism, growth, reproduction, everything that can be reduced or affected by the limiting factor. So one or two or more than that factors may act as limiting factor to control the growth and development of any kind of organism. So when you study a case studies, when you do any case study by taking one ecosystem, so what are the available factors? The ecosystem with the similar species composition living in different habitats, when you compare, definitely we can sort out some strategies. So these are all the limiting factors controlling the growth and development of the plants and subsequently the animals present there. So when you have full understanding about all these 10 concepts, 5 for structure and 5 for the functions, then the ecology is over. So the understanding and getting information from the concepts, how the it is common for all kinds of ecosystem. No ecosystem in the world is exempted from the concept. So any ecosystem means it is man-made or natural ecosystem. Even in the test tube culture, also tissue culture, the fully under the control of man. In the controlled environment only that kind of the materials are produced. There also these all kinds of 10 concepts they can be applied. So when you understand all these 10 kinds, then the ecology is very simple. All organisms, particularly animals, how the animals and the plants they are having interaction. The well interaction only helpful for the better survival of any organism in the ecosystem. So the interaction is not in a normal way; it is a deviated means any one of the organism will be eliminated by nature. So for all these kinds, they are developing different characters, different adaptations, particularly for plants. Suppose animals means they can migrate. If the conditions are not suitable, simply they can migrate to other suitable places. You can see the birds. So thousands of kilometers they are flying and coming to the suitable area, egg laying, and then the further process they are completed. Finally they are going to their original places after completing the season. With their offsprings they are going to their original places. So this animal, but plants they cannot move if the conditions are changing. By morphologically some characters can be changed, anatomically some characters can be changed, physiologically some characters can be changed. So by changing biochemically also, very interestingly, when you see the plants living in the very cold regions, the sub-zero degree centigrade, when the temperature is there, there also plants are there. During daytime, by getting the little bit light energy from sun, they can produce carbohydrate. To resist the low temperature during night time below 0 degree, the produced carbohydrate that can be converted into fat. Again in early morning after sunrise, the fat can be converted into the carbohydrate. Such a way the plants are enduring or resisting the adverse conditions, and simply they are producing lot of defense compounds, defense biochemicals to resist the environment through which they are surviving. So understanding of all these concepts that will be more useful to know ecology in a better way. So today with this I will wind up the class. Next day we will see the what are the populations, population concept, species, and the remaining area we will see in the next area. Now you can ask any your doubt or anything. Sorry, I don't have the PowerPoint or any type of notes for this. I will suggest some books. Fundamentals of Ecology by Wodham, very good book. So it is a Bible for all ecologists. And then the Introduction to Ecology by Krebs, and then the Introduction to Ecosystem by A.G. Tansley, Textbook of Plant Ecology by R.S. Ambast, Ecology and Environment by the K.C. Misra, Manual of Ecology by K.C. Misra, Ecology and Environment by P.D. Sarma. So these are all some P.D. Sarma, Ambast, these are all the books used at a text level we can understand. So for the in-depth knowledge, the latest edition of Ecology by Wodham, that will be more useful to you. You can refer these books. Thank you. Any queries or doubts you are having, you can raise now.
Thank you so much, sir, for a beautiful presentation, and it was very informative. Sir, a small doubt I have got.
Yes, sir.
This is regarding that one R Mishras you were telling us, sir, regarding form, function, and facts.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to know what is that basis for that classification, or how they have done that form, function, and facts.
Actually, sir, I told that in early stage, even in beginning of the 20th century, people are not aware about the functions taking place in community or ecosystem. Simply, community means different species at different levels, plants, animals of different taxonomical groups. They are organized in a place to share the resources. But later on,
Okay,
slowly after 1930s, actually 35 afterwards, these communities are some way they are having interactions between themselves. Functionally, they are playing role. Even when you take any type of plant system or the animal system, some functional behaviors are there due to which the services are there. Outcome of the reaction means what it is. Say, for example, in chemical reaction, one acid and alkali, when they are combined together, we can get water and salt. So we are getting product.
correct.
Similarly, the plants, animals, and other biotic organisms, they are interacting with the environment. So as a result, we are getting some outcome in the form of services, in the form of food, in the form of medicine, fiber, fuel, etc. So these are all the services we are getting after the reaction between the environmental factors and then the biological factors. So this is realized after 1930s only. So the people at the time, they incorporated these things also in their definition. R. Misra found mere studying the structure alone cannot help to have an understanding about ecology. We have to study the functions also. Both Misra and then the Odom, both of them are having same idea. Even we can say before Odom, Misra proposed that concept. So form that is structural, we should study. The factor form function that should also be studied. So whether the system is stable or not, it is productive or not, we have to study. So various functions, the influence of environmental factor in studying functions, that also be included. And then the factors. So environmental conditions, they are the environmental factors, how they are playing role. So considering all these things, they revamped the definition. So they are adding. The nature means this should be three. The triangle of the nature is constituted by form, function, and factors. So each one is having its own importance. We cannot underestimate any one of the component. All are equally important,
True.
equally playing role. So that is the way they are improving or enhancing the content of definition according to the need, according to the understanding, or according to knowledge obtained there.
Fine, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir, Carlson, sir. And
Yes.
one question from Stephen Ajay, sir. Sir, can you explain about fire ecology and its uses?
Uh, Explain what?
About fire ecology and its uses.
Pyroecology, PYR.
Fire.
Both are
FIR.
same. Fire ecology in technical term it is pyroecology. PIYRO. Yes,
Okay.
fire it is a factor. Even it is a most useful factor in our traditional group. People are also burning the vegetation, controlled burning of the vegetation for better yield. You when you go to Animal Hills, some 30 years back, before declaring that region as the tiger reserve, the Indira Gandhi Wildlife Sanctuary in 1986 that has been declared. Before that, it was no reserve forest or the protected area. At the time, for lemongrass, the government gave auctions. The local people, including the tribal, they are doing work in the lemongrass. So up to February, they are harvesting. It is a perennial grass. Every 45 days once, they can harvest the grass for oil distillation. They are having their own setup of distillation unit, and they can distill the oil after harvesting. And during the month of February, almost the summer starts there, no rainfall will occur. They will burn the remaining part of the that Simbopogan or the lemongrass. So what it means, when you burn during February, almost all aerial parts will completely burned except the subterranean part, the stolons and other rhizomes present in the soil, they cannot be affected by fire. But in the month of March, in the high reaches of Animalize, including the Nilgiris also, we can get one or two thunder showers, the rainfall. Immediately, the plants respond. The vigorous growth of the grasses will follow after rainfall in that region. Within 1 month, end of the March or April, they are the dry period, drought condition is there. So after completion, almost the grasses will grow, because when you suppress the axillary bud, actually during the fire, what happens physiologically, the dormancy of the buds that can be broken. The buds are very active, they are expecting the suitable condition. If rain occurs immediately, they will grow very vigorously. Within a short span of 20 days, the grass will grow up to the height of 6 feet. So again, it is ready for harvesting. So this fire ecology, the fire, not always a detrimental. Some extent you see in the evolution also playing evolution of the natural vegetation, the fire is playing important role. in the animal is my work is with fire in grassland ecology. Grassland of grass skills of animal is that can be dominated by Chrysopogon xylanicus, one grass. Chrysopogon xylanicus is also a perennial grass, most important feed for the wild animals like bison, great Indian gar. So the great Indian gar, they can prefer the Chrysopogon xylanicus than the other grasses in that region. So what happens during February, March in the dry condition? People before I am saying before the declaration of that region as the reserve forest, the tribal people or the forest department people themselves they put fire for the grasses. So 1 or 2 days the fire will happen. All the other plants will die. Particularly the dicot plants will not come up after the fire. So only the this Chrysopogon xylanicus, due by this same mechanism, after getting rainfall, immediately they will come up. The young juvenile or tender part of the regenerated grass that can be highly preferred by the bison. So population of the bison will be more after fire, followed by rainfall in that region. So the unwanted weeds they can be simply eliminated by fire in that region. So both wildlife as well as the community. So this is happened for a long period of more than 500 years. As per the knowledge, as per 500 years, this is going on every 1 year or every 2 years once. The deliberate fire burning is made there. So due to which the Chrysopogon xylanicus become dominant. This is the predominant plant there. Other associated plants are again and again they are killed by fire every year. So single species dominance is mainly maintained there. The wild animals they are getting benefit by this grass by fire. In Australia, Texas, these are all the countries they are controlled burning they are practicing still. Even in the protected area also controlled burning is practiced in Australia for better fodder supply to wild animals, including the cattle also. The cattle that can get good fodder after fire from the natural rangelands or the natural pasture lands there. So some extent the fire is detrimental also. So many number of plants they are totally eliminated by fire. Large trees they can be eliminated. So fire is detrimental in one angle. Another angle that can promote the growth of the other plants and subsequently the animals also. So fire that can do both positive and negative interaction over the plants.
I have, hi sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Uh, Sir, I have a question in regards to the same topic that you just ended. You said that it is important to have the fire thing in the forest, but how often it is a question, right? So there should be certain period, like it cannot be done every year or every 6 months or so. So is there a particular study that has been done to say that it is safe to even it's a control or uncontrolled, whatever it is, because sometimes things happen that is not under control. So what is the stipulated time that has to be given or taken to do this firing in the regions of forest or wherever it is there any study done, and if it is, and how, what is this period that we have to do it?
Yes, ma'am. Many huge number of studies have been carried out in this area. Mostly in Australian works, ecological works are mainly in fireworks only. So the frequency of fire in a region is depending upon the local climate. It is varied according to the climatic condition, according to vegetation type. In Australia, every year they are having controlled burning. They are having sophisticated instruments. Fire boss is there. 4,000 hectares, 5,000 hectares coming under the control of one man, that fire boss appointed by the government of Australia. He is having all kinds of equipments, all kinds, even remote sensing also they are using, radar they are also using to monitor the fire event happened at different places. So the controlled burning is very possible in that region. They practiced once in a year during summer. They are preferring. But India, we are not promoting. Even traditional people in India, they know about the importance of fire to increase the or to enhance the protection of the particular vegetation. But the government policymakers and the forest administrators, they are not accepting fire because it is totally detrimental. It will affect the wildlife also in that region. One reason is we don't have such type of the sophisticated instruments. We are not using the radar or any type of the if the fire is over, that is the fire process is beyond the level, then helicopters are used to control the fire. Water from helicopter they are spraying on the fire regions, but that kind of facilities are not there in India. That's why totally in Indian scenario, we are not preferring fire. Studies still required in India. Very poor works only in fire. Very less number of fire in Karnataka, northeastern states, and I think don't fire work in the eastern Ghats. In western Ghats also not very common. Very one or few areas only they have controlled burning. That too in the unprotected areas. So still we need more number of works to know the effect of fire over vegetation and other organisms. So the policymakers, actually they should have the knowledge of ecology. That is the policy makers and the administrators, the ministers, everybody, they should have the knowledge of ecology, how we can make use of fire for the betterment of vegetation and other organisms. They have to think over it. But in India, still it is not accepted, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. I have one more question, if I can.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, sir. When you consider it's all related to the climate conditions and how the weather is in that particular place to have the fire thing done. So, looking at the southern part of India, if you is there any study made that how many times, or in a year, or in a span of 5 years, how many times we can do this? Is there any study done on that for our Indian forest?
In southern India, no such studies made. I have made a few studies in 1980s, 19 later half of the 1980s, 1986 to 91. I have made some studies in the Animal Hills, in the grassland areas. So I published more than 10 articles from my study in the reputed journals. I think there is no other studies related to fire in vegetations. In Karnataka, one study they have made, one forest officer, I forget the name, Scood, I think. Some that is also some 25 years back, 30 years back, he has made in Karnataka deciduous forest. But Orissa also some studies. In Orissa, the eastern Ghats, they are very rich in the Symbopogon citratus, the lemongrass, around 700 meters altitude in the eastern Ghats. So in Orissa, lemongrass oil production is one of the important minor forest produced from the eastern Ghats. So they have the government is giving some assistance to do such type of works in that area. Sahu, one man, I think in 1980s, he has done some work in the fire ecology of Orissa grasslands.
Okay.
But we need more works, ma'am. So that factor should be, we have to think that a detrimental factor, how we can make use of that factor for in a positive way.
Yeah.
So controlled burning, even not only summer burning. Some of the countries like USA and Texas, they are having cold burning. In the winter season, they burned the grasslands.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. You from, ma'am?
I'm from Hyderabad, sir.
Well, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir must be very tired by asking questions.
No.
So this is theory class. If you ask so many questions, it's very difficult to cover our topics. Sir is in our group forever, and whatever you wanted to ask in person, Sir can able to elaborate his study, and he explains very well. And Sir is always available to you people. So one more question, sir. Kanivalan,
Yes.
Please, can you brief about phytosociology?
Phytosociology. Phyto means plant, sociology means the interrelations, how the plants are adjusting or having relationship with others. So it is nothing but plant community studies. So community concept was introduced by Squatter and Kerner in 1896. The studying of individual species in the community or in an ecosystem is giving less information. But collectively, when the plants together, including the animals, when they are studied together, we can get more information about the plants. Phytosociology is the plant sociology. Sociology means human sociology means the social behavior, social relationship between the human beings. Similarly, in plants, the plants, even they are not movable, they can have definite relationship with the nearby plant. Whether it may be a same species or in different species, they are having a definite understanding or relationship with the neighbors. So we have to study how they are distributed, the level of distribution between the species, the level of population size of each and that is called density, population size of each and every species in that area, the cover a basal cover or the canopy cover, that can also be studied because cover is the functional value. So based on the cover, we can determine the dominant plant or the dominant plant of the community. So the cover value and then the relative frequency, that means the relative distribution, relative population size, relative dominance, and importance value index. One particular character we are deriving after getting all these informations, the importance value index. So which plant species is getting more importance value index in a community, then we can say that is the nucleus of the community. That is the major plant, major driver of the functions, all functions of the ecosystem. 90% of the functions that can be held by the operated by the particular species only. The remaining 10% only satisfy the remaining hundreds of plants. So by studying all these behaviors and then the distribution level, population level, everything that can be studied together for all species. Separate methodology is there. So standard methodologies are there to cover all plants in that area in these aspects. So that is called as the phytosociology.
Thank you very much, sir,
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
your broad explanation about all aspects. I would like to say a few words about SAR. SAR Dr. S. Swami, former head of botany department of our college. At present, he is working as a research and development set, and he has completed 32 years of teaching experience for both UG and PG botany and 33 years of research experience. His area of specialization is plant ecology and conservation biology, and also he won many awards, and he is the recipient of Tamil Nadu State Government Environment Award for the year 2009 and included as expert in Environment Database, Ministry of Environment and Forest Government of India for the year 2008 and nominated by the same ministry as a member in the expert committee to revise the champion classification of Indian forests, received Best Senior Scientist Award Botany for the Botany for the year 2016 from Pearl A Foundation for Education Excellence and selected as a science communicator in 104th Indian Science Congress held at Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, January 2017. And also, sir is produced more than 20 PhDs and 31 MPhils, and so far he has completed 8 major and minor research projects funded by various organizations from national and international. He has organized national level sessions. He has published more than 200 in various national and international journals. And also he is editor for various journals, and also he is editor for our Kongunadu Research Journal and reviewer for several international journals like Tropical Ecology, Industrial Crops and Products, African Journal of Biotechnology, etc. And also being a research person, he delivered various lectures, seminars on various topics related to natural resource management. And your kind information. And in our college, we have Kongunadu Research Journal. Actually, those who are joined in this group are from various aspects like wildlife biology background, and some people are very very reputed in wildlife related issues and all. If you want to publish your journals or articles, means the articles, kindly approach us. We will give our best for your publishing your journals in our Konganadu journal, so research journal. So thank you very much, sir. And
Thank you.
Sir, excuse me.
yes,
Yes, yes,
Sir, I'm Shravan. Sir, I have a little doubt, like in terms of landscape transformation.
yes.
Like as you said, fire ecology just now. So how would this fire would transform the landscape? Would it be like from heterogeny to monotonic cultivation in the uh, plant composition in terms of?
Yes, yes. Fire definitely changed the landscape. When you take the Assam in the northeastern states, Assam, they are doing zoom cultivation. Zoom
Yes, sir.
cultivation, they are making fire in one forest area and they cleared the forest and they are doing agriculture for 1 or 2 years. Then they are leaving the land and occupying new forest area. Again, they are doing putting fire and clearing the forest, afterwards doing agriculture. The cycle after 20-25 years, again they are coming to the first land. So this is a circle they are doing. But what is happening there, as I told, the monoculture, single species dominant, that will be increased by fire. Even the natural way of community development, that can be disturbed. This is called as the disclimax stage in ecology, they can say. The climax stage formed due to disturbance like fire. So the original development of the community is not at all possible. So even in this case, I told in Animalize, the Chrysopogon xylanicus, if the fire is not happened there, definitely at one stage the Chrysopogon that can be slowly eliminated by another suitable element there. But we are allowing through fire, we are controlling the entry of other elements. So only this fire preferring plant like a Chrysopogon xylanicus, Symbopogon in low areas, they will be promoted. So for our benefit, so this is purely for our benefit. In community point of view, the original community cannot be evolved due to fire. So only the desired plants that can be encouraged by fire.
Thank you.
So that is also the landscape, shifting of landscape. The landscape originally suitable for certain group of plants are deliberately avoided, and we are growing some other plants suitable for that particular area.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So that means this practice can be done in a particular habitat which is suitable for those. Uh, sir.
So, yes, yes, Burden.
So this particular practice, like firing up the landscape, can be
Uh,
practiced in only a particular habitat where we can control this
yes,
monotonic.
yes, yes, sir, yes, sir. We cannot do this practice in all places because the response of the plants to fire and subsequently the response of animals to fire is entirely different. So the
Correct.
sluggish animals like our panda and then the small animals, they cannot move very easily from one place to another place. So that kind of organisms will be totally disturbed by fire. So depending upon the biodiversity composition and other climatic conditions, we can do the practice. That also need more research whether we
Sir,
can do fire or not. So that can be decided only based on the
that particular area.
yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank
thank you very much, sir.
thank
And
you.
now I would like to request all you we should not ask any more questions because we are running out of time. Actually, we have to cover our syllabus too. So now I request Palsan sir can stay in this group, or if you want to leave, you can leave, sir. Actually, I
Okay.
am